So, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back. We're back to the top of the league as well. Another resounding victory yesterday. Comfortable. A walk in the park. The stroll with the lads. It was great. And Granit Xhaka, masterclass. And another clean sheet. We're sat top of the table to at least the 1st of October when we have the North London derby. However, I have seen a stat today. Gabriel Jesus is 1 yellow card away from suspension, and that has been massive. So yeah, he's been very good. He got man of the match again yesterday. Although I think we pretty much all agreed it was Granit Xhaka, the best player on the pitch, but he is still very, very integral to our plans going forward. But Jez, for anyone who didn't watch your fan cam yesterday, mate, give us your thoughts on the game, mate.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Super excited about it. We were in total control. We weren't really threatened, to be fair, were we? As I said last night, Ramsdale really could have sat there with tea and cakes and had a little bit of a nosh and a nice cup of tea. Couldn't fault it, mate. Couldn't fault it. And yeah, I'm Mr. Positive, and maybe we're in the wrong. But all I'm going to say is I want to be proven wrong. And if this guy, Mr. Arteta, is in a title race come next April and he's seriously challenging, then I'm wrong. But it's a long way to go yet. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. Kenny, you was at the game. It's a ground I'd love to go to, actually. It looks like, when you watch it on TV, like a beautiful little stadium. And the atmosphere is always pretty good at Brentford from what you watch on TV. But what was it like being there, mate?
Well, I think we subdued the Brentford fans pretty quickly, by taking control of the game and then taking the game away from them. But as you said, it's a lovely ground, nice area, surprisingly easy to get to. If you know your routes, and it's quite quick to get to as well. From once you synchronise your trains from North London all the way up to the pick, like the Victoria Line on the tube, and then get the right train to to Kew Gardens, Kew Bridge. It's brilliant, and it's a nice little stadium. Going by what Jez says as well, I agree. I said it in my fan cam yesterday that if you're playing as beautiful as we're playing, you've got to have something to show of it. It'd be sad for everyone concerned, the players and all the fans, if we don't have a nice big trophy to come at the end of this season. So it's so good so far, and yeah, Granit. I don't know who this Granit Xhaka is, number 34. I don't know how much we signed him for. We probably just signed him this season, or maybe it's someone else. And Vieira, from one game, I could see what the fuss is. And he was really, really pleased with his performance. And thank God we got Partey back, because we can exercise control over the match.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. And the thing is, the fixtures are coming thick and fast now. And I think yesterday, albeit we won the game and it was comfortable, I think the one thing all three of us have said, we have a lot of injuries at this football club, don't we? And again, yesterday, there was no Odegaard, there was no Zinchenko. We've had Partey missing for parts of the season. Smith-Rowe's hardly played, if any, this season. And Tierney's been out again this season at some points. Tomiyasu's only just coming back. Our bench is not great, is it? And we have now got 9 games coming up next month, starting with the North London derby. And I want to get your thoughts before we go into breaking down the game and how it went yesterday and who stood out, etc. And then looking at that North London derby and how Tottenham have been playing. I wanted to get your thoughts on our bench, because I look at it and I think, like, we've got 9 games in October, and I think 5 of them are Europa League, because now we've got the PSV go. I'm pretty sure it's 5 games in that Europa League now, because we've only played the 1. We've got to get them all. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me get the fixtures up. Maybe it is only 4. But we have got a lot of fixtures, starting with Tottenham. And then obviously after that, the next Premier League fixture is Liverpool. Are you concerned, Jez, with the bench? Because we have got a lot of games. Obviously, we are going to do some rotation with the Europa League, etc. But you'd like to think that we're going to be a little bit deeper in terms of squad depth than we've actually got. But then when you look at the players that are out, El Neni's out. He's going to be out for weeks. Smith-Rowe's not coming back anytime soon. Zinchenko, we don't know, but apparently it's about 2 weeks. Smith Rowe, well, we can't rely on him. Do you think we're going to struggle through this next month? It's been great so far. Like, listen, we've played some of the best football in the league so far, if not the best football in the league. When I've watched Man City this season, I haven't been that impressed, but they have a top boy up front who just doesn't miss. And that is getting them through games at the minute. But do you think coming up in October that we're going to struggle a little bit more than we have done playing one game a week?
Oh, mate, all day. I mean, we've got Tottenham, then we've got Bode Gilminit, whoever the hell they are.
Yeah, Bodo Klimt.
And then we've got Liverpool at home. Then we've got that Glimt again. Leeds United away. Man City game's postponed. Arsenal, PSV, away at Southampton. And we know what a banana skin that can be. And PSV away. And then we've got Notts Forest at home. Yeah, mate, I'm sorry, that bench just isn't strong enough. Well, we've got players that are have gone away in this international window, and we get one or two of them get a knock or get a bad injury. We're in deep doo-doos. And yes, okay, lovely. Really happy to see that young boy come on yesterday at 15. But was that just a show of faith? Or was there something seriously in the background going on? But look,
maybe because we were 3-0 up, he expected to win the game, and he just thought, nice kick around with the boys from Ivan Toney's tweet, and he maybe just thought, I put a boy on the pitch. Who knows what was behind it?
It could be a piss take, but let's be fair. He's not going to make an appearance against Tottenham. He's not going to make an appearance against Liverpool. He's not going to make an appearance against Leeds United. The guy will be kicked up in the air, and I don't want to see that happen. And I am concerned. We're playing some lovely football right now. We commanded that game at Brentford yesterday. They didn't really show us any great threat, really. I think Toney was off his game, although I will say that Saliba did pocket him, and Toney had a hard game against him. But I'm sorry, man. I look at that bench and I think, who were some of these players yesterday? I don't know them. Who are they?
Right, there's a comment. There's a comment here from this account. It says United, City, and Liverpool want to buy him. I've seen some journalists tweet that out today. Yeah, that is the biggest load of cobblers I've ever seen on the internet. Yeah, he comes on for 3 seconds, 5 minutes, whatever it was at the end of the game, with stoppage time. Now all of a sudden, every single big club wants to buy him. Yeah. The young boy that came on yesterday, the 15-year-old. Oh, yeah. Now apparently all these clubs want to buy him. Yeah, that is just the classic example of a journalist trying to get clicks. Yeah, there's let's be real here. We've never heard of the kid, and we support the club, right? You'd think that if Man City, Man United, and Liverpool wanted him, they would have probably already gone in for him because they would know who he is. So all these scouting networks that all these football clubs have. Plus the fact that we all play against each other in them lower leagues, like the age groups, they would have seen this boy play before. So I ain't buying that story one bit, bro. I've seen that put out there. Then obviously all the top big super fan accounts have got hold of it, and top Gooner accounts. Absolute load of crap. Yeah, there's no way Man City are going to come in and buy that 15-year-old. I'm not having it. Neither are Man United, neither are Liverpool. Right, and listen, he must still be awake. I doubt he slept, Kenny. I know the song was "How Shit Must You Be?" He's only 15 or something. Was going around the stadium, which is kind of funny. Like some of the football banter's jokes. But are you worried about our bench, Kenny? Because yesterday it worked. It was great. And it's worked so far this season. And it seems like every time we get a player injured, one's just come back to replace that player anyway. And I do feel that is going to eventually end up with the luck running out on that. And eventually we are going to have a totting up of injuries, especially with 9 games. Like I know that the likes of JEZ'S and that ain't going to play every one of them 9 games. But again, like I said, he's one booking away from a suspension. Our next game is Tottenham. Well, let's assume he gets booked in that game. Well, the next game is Bodo Glimt. I don't think it counts for Europe, right? I think it'd be a Premier League suspension. So he'll then be banned for Liverpool. He's got to walk a tightrope, JEZ'S, which is kind of going to take a little bit away from his game next month because he is all impact, all energy. and he's a lot more physical than I expected him to be. But what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I was actually talking to one of the scribes, and we were talking about how we thought Arsenal were going to do, and his words was the squad's a bit too thin, and that's something we've been saying for quite a long time on this podcast, and even amongst ourselves, that it has been thin, and it's going to be a situation where in January it's imperative that we do beef it up, because with the games coming up, they're coming thick and fast, and as you can see, Arteta, even against one of the worst European sides I've seen in a long while, Zurich, Arteta decided to bring the big boys in for the last 15 minutes when he didn't really need to. So that says a lot about our squad. And going into like the Spurs and Liverpool, they're teams with really, really, really deep squads, especially Liverpool. So games coming thick and fast. This is where we're going to learn a lot about our players, and this is going to be a litmus test. But the good thing about that is that when we are going to go into these games with a cushion, and we're going to go in there with a bit of authority. But midfield, we saw how much a difference Partey made when he was in there. Massive difference he made to the team. Made us more solid. I know people said it was only Brentford, but Brentford did start off energetically. They did try to con us into by playing a back three and playing an overlapping centre half but in me. So to try and hoodwink us, and once we got the measure of Brentford, we control the game. But that's another area. Another thing as well. If anything's happened to Gabriel Jesus, big injury or suspension, you think we're heavily relying on just Eddie. What happened? Who plays us after Eddie? Because remember, Balogun's on loan in France. So that's another area. Like a lot of people I spoke to have talked about backup striker. That's another area we need to look at.
Well, we did say we need a backup striker. We needed another midfielder, and we needed a right back. So far, with the right back, we played 2 centre backs at right back, and we're going to touch on Saka.
You know what it is, Lee? I'm sorry. I think what it is that it seems like Saliba's kind of messed up the game plan by playing and earning his place, because I had a joke with someone that he's relegated Benjamin Wright of Dorset to the right back, and relegated our best right back onto the bench all by himself because of the form. So in saying that, I'll take him argue, but we've got a good right back. But it just shows you, as you mentioned with Tommy Asu's injuries record since he's come here, we could do with an orthodox right back. So it is a bit of worrying. Again, there's no doubt in our minds with the games that we've mentioned, that Jez mentioned as well. It's going to be a test. There's going to be knocks, going to be injuries. We haven't got Smith Rowe to come on because he seems like he's going to have a semi-long time injury, and Mohamed Elneny's going to have a long-term injury. So you're only relying on Albert. And if anything happens to Saka and Martinelli, obviously it's just Marquinhos that we've got to rely on. So again, you're 100% right. It is a worry, especially if we're going to aim a bit higher than the top 4.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we haven't got any actual cover for Saka apart from Marquinhos. And is Marquinhos ready? I mean, Edu and Arteta are apparently thinking about loaning him out in January, which leaves us even more short, doesn't it? I see that story doing the rounds. Again, whether that's genuine or not, I don't know. But that was before he came on or played the other night and scored. And I don't know. The thing is, when a new player comes into a football club, everyone just gets super hyped. I've had people in my chat and my fan cams and that going, "Oh, you're in the mud. Vieira scored." Well, okay, mate. I've seen Denilson play for the football club and score loads. Yeah, was he ever good? Any good? Do you know what I mean? Looked good. Yeah, it never really quite happened, did it? So I wouldn't get too carried away by a player scoring 1 goal in a football match on his debut. I've seen people do the same with Charlie Patino. The kid's on loan at Blackpool. And again, we've seen other players at this football club that have put in really good performances, and then it's just faded, and they've just never been the same again. And I just look at it and I think so far we have been pretty flawless. Apart from that defeat to Man United, it has been the perfect start to a season. Everyone's looking 100 mile an hour. Granit Xhaka's playing further up the pitch. which is great for us because he can't be a liability down the other end. And even if he is a liability up that end, we've still got 100 yards to cover before they get to our goal. So, and we'll come to him in a minute as well. But I want to come to Saka and the right back, because we were just talking about saying in the summer that we were saying we need a right back, an orthodox right back, you know, because we have got 2 centre backs playing there at the moment, mainly Ben White at the moment, and then Tomiyasu coming on here and there. But yesterday there was a moment in that game where Bukayo Saka's down the right wing, and there was no one for Arsenal in the picture at all from what I see on TV, right? Bukayo Saka's then got 5 players around him, and Ben White still wasn't in the picture.
Yeah.
Fabio Vieira wasn't in the picture. And then in the end, he had to boot it 30 yards all the way back to Ben White. For me, Bukayo Saka's not been very good this season. He's been all right. I'm not saying he's been crap. I know people love to protect him like a family member. Yeah, and but he's got 2 assists yesterday. Okay, great, fantastic. Yeah, I'm looking at his overall performances this season. I don't think he's been that great. But I also have said this many times before. I don't think it helps when you have an inverted right back or a non-overlapping right back. You know, if we had, and listen, we've had a couple of players playing that position at right back. The only one I've ever seen overlap Saka is Cedric. So it can't be a manager instruction to not overlap him. It must be a player thinking, well, hang on, if I go too far forward here, I'm exposing this lot. Whereas Cedric's just going, I'm going forward. You know, what do you think of that, Jez? Because you see that same passage as well. We were talking about it yesterday. 5 players. I mean, what's he supposed to do, Saka? I mean, he's a very good player. Can't take 5 players on, can he?
No, I mean, funny enough, after we did the fan cam player ratings last night, I watched the game, the highlights of Match of the Day last night, and I sort of rethought my view. I thought, you're quite right what you just said. I think the reason he's not looking great this season, he isn't getting the support down that right wing. You can't expect a player, and he's not a massive player, is he? He's not a big, bulky player. And the fact that, as you quite rightly put, at one point he had 4 or 5 players around him, well, what do you expect him to do? Ben White has to come and support the guy. Yes, I know we're exposing our right flank, but we've got to do it. We've done it for years. Over history, we've always had some great right backs and left backs that have actually tracked forward and supported the midfield, right, left. We've done it, and we can do it again. But is it an instruction that you've just said from Arteta to say they don't get too far forward? I don't think so. Tierney does. You can see yesterday Tierney streaming down that left wing, supporting Martinelli, overrunning Martinelli at times. You know, and we saw that last season with Tierney when he was playing, when he wasn't injured. But Ben White, I seem to think he has this fear factor. He holds back a little bit. And then if we don't have, like yesterday, Vieira supporting Saka, what can the kid do? He's lost. He's in no man's land. He can go nowhere. And as you said, I watched the highlights last night. A couple of occasions, he's making the run. He's trying to get inside, but there's no one to support him. So he has to pass it back. And that is a problem. I mean, I watched last night. There was a couple of times with Saka, he had to pass the ball to Partey into the centre of the midfield, where then the move's gone. What's happening here now? Hang on, bear with me.
No, go on, mate. No worries. Make sure you smash the likes up, guys. Smash the likes up. You can do it, guys. You can do it. Be a light bulb, guys. And there's not been any bumps in the light at the moment. So make sure you come
back, Lee. I don't know what's happened here. I'll come back to you.
No, that's all right, mate. It's all right. Kenny, what about you, mate? What do you think with the right back position and Saka's performances? Because you've been to most of the games this season, all of the ones at home, and then obviously the game yesterday as well. You've seen him firsthand. You obviously see a bigger part of the pitch than we do watching it on TV. We're just following the ball on TV. What have you made of him this season? And what have you made of that situation down that side.
Well, you know, the theme is that he does look tired, but you know, he was playing better football when he had and I dare I say it, when he had Cedric or Tomiyasu on that right back flank. And one of the examples I saw yesterday is that there was instances when the spaces that we occupy, that Saka occupied, they're occupied by Fabio Vieira, where he kind of likes to come in for the right, getting his left foot and then send piercing passes into the middle of the park. So what was happening is that Saka was moving further into the center of our attack rather than hugging the flanks. And what was happening is that it just gave it just made it quite a bit more difficult for him to give protection to you know, Benjamin White when you know, Ben Mee was playing as the overlapping centre back. So that was one area I noticed. But it was one of the things where, you know, he does look a bit tired. He does look tired. I ain't gonna lie, he isn't looking his best. But in terms of giving him, you know, where I think anyway, giving him an opportunity to play his best football, I have to say that I do agree with a lot of what you guys are saying, that Benjamin White doesn't really give him that kind of support he needs to play his best football, especially down that flank. When if you look over the other side, if it isn't Zinchenko, it's Kieran Tierney that's enabling, you know, Martinelli to get into that area where he can, you know, like I said, have a double up on the right back and attack him. It's even when JEZ'S goes out there, Kieran Tierney is intelligent enough to give it, you know, create that space where he can sneak into the box and have a shot and goal. We're not kind of getting that kind of thing, that kind of football from Saka at the moment. I think that does contribute to his quiet games, but also I do think it's a lot of it's to do with his like fatigue as well. But you'll find during the international breaks in the games against Italy and Germany, you'll find that he will have more joy if he does games, because he's going to have people like Chia, Walker, you know, James, and even TAA down that side to enable him to hurt the opposition's left back for both sides. So that is a massive factor. There's no doubt about that. You know, it'd be an absolute lie for me to say anything else.
I just want to highlight this comment because I agree with this, and this isn't slagging Saka off at all. Yeah, this is just like if you look at, since Arteta's been manager, we're very left-hand side of the pitch dominant. Like, and we always had Tierney and Martinelli, or Tierney and Smith Rowe, whoever it may be, down that side. And teams figured us out last season down that. Yes, we do go a lot more down the right now than we ever have under Arteta. But again, this is a great comment. Saka, even with an overlapping fullback, only has a left foot. I think we see that yesterday when he skied that decent chance with his right, didn't we? His right's nowhere near as good as his left. So it's obvious to defend him. That's my problem with him when he does the same as what Pepe got criticised for. And this is the thing, he is very predictable at times, Saka. And his decision making, I mean, listen, he is only a kid. You know, I think we all forget that. He is only 21, just turned 21 last week, I think. You know, and he's played a lot of games for Arsenal Football Club at 21. But he needs to sharpen up on that final ball at times, because sometimes it's just a little bit lax or he panics when he gets there. But I do think if he had somebody overlapping him, all of a sudden that takes another defender away from him. They're obviously going to double up on him because he's a good player. But now if you have somebody overlap him, one of them has to go and cover the overlap. Now you've got that little inch just to get a cross in, just to get a shot in, maybe get a deflection for a corner or a goal, or a deflection for an own goal, etc. But he's not been great, but it hasn't been needed so far. You know, he's chipped in with some assists and he got a goal the other day, but it's more down the other side. It's more JEZ'S, Martinelli's side where the damage has been coming. The problem for me is like we said, JEZ'S is one yellow card away from suspension. What do we do then? Because if he gets suspended and we're playing Eddie against Liverpool, then I think we're kind of effed. And I've seen a lot of people in this chat as well mentioning that Liverpool's midfield this and Liverpool's midfield that. I think most of their midfield will be back by the time we play them. Yeah, not only that, we do have international break in a minute, and there's some breaking news that came out a couple of hours ago. Hugo Lloris has withdrawn from the French squad with a thigh injury. He pulled out of the squad apparently this morning. Whether this is just, again, it's a meaningless game, pull out, we've got Tottenham in 2 weeks, blah, 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 or whether this is actually a genuine injury, we'll never know, will we? I'd expect him to start against Arsenal, if I'm honest. Again, our goalkeeper also had Gabriel taking the goal kick right at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Again, was that another little ploy from our manager to say, like, in stoppage time, make out you've got a little injury? Yeah, maybe Ramsdale might pull out of the squad. I don't know. Because this happens quite a lot. We used to see it all the time with Fergie telling players to like pull out of squads and stuff. You know, if Wenger used to try and do it, you know. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting coming into that game. Let's talk about Granit Xhaka as well. Big up to everyone in the chat. There's over 700 watching live. Make sure you smash these likes up, people. And JEZ'S link is in the description as well. So make sure you subscribe to JEZ'S channel if you haven't already. Arsenal history and more, it is there. So make sure you go and hit that link. Smash the likes up on this video. That'd be great. And let's talk about Granit Xhaka. Kenny, he looks like a different player this season, doesn't he? He looks like he's enjoying playing football. Yesterday, I was fuming he had the armband. He shouldn't even be at the football club, in my opinion. But credit where it's due. He's been our best player this season. That's not to say that he's going to go and nose it all up, because at some point he's hitting the fuck it switch. We always know that. But whilst he's had 7 good games in a row, which, by the way, he did last season at some points. He had 7 good games at the start of last season, and then, or in the middle part of last season, then mashed it all up. Why do you think the turnaround? Do you think it is because he's more comfortable being further away from goal, actually facing a goal, rather than facing his own goal? Do you think it's that, or do you just think it's the?
I think what it is. Well, I think what it is that, you know, I think we've probably got a better team and better players in a long time since he's been in this football club. I want to say since you know, since Wenger's in charge, because I think they were definitely much better players than we have now. When he first phased the club, we had better players in 2016, 2017 season, but we finished 5th. And I thought we probably had slightly better players in the season afterwards when we finished 6th. But I think what it is I do think it's 2 things. One, the presence of Thomas Partey in midfield, a fit Thomas Partey, and moving further forward, getting further forward where he can influence the game, he can do his passes. You know, we always had him down as a long-range passer from deep, and we're asking him to be a DM, which he's not. He's not a DM. We're asking him to completely run a midfield when, let's face it, he can't. He can if it was in when he was playing in Germany for Mönchengladbach, and when he plays for Switzerland when the game's a bit slow for him, slow, quick, slow, quick. But in our game, when the demands are very physical, especially if he was to lose the ball in possession, he has to run back. That's not his game. Where he is now, further up the field, being a more creative presence in terms of creating goal scoring opportunities and getting into positions where he can score goals. That's where he's playing his better football. So when he is needed, which is very, very occasional because we're playing a lot better, he does have the energy to get in areas where he can make interceptions and then get up the field. So in a way, it's helped his game. But you know, if he does drink, I don't know if he drinks because I think he's a Muslim, just like Thomas Partey. But you know, by every whenever you get paid at the end of the month, always take Thomas Partey out for dinner, because I'll tell you one thing: Thomas Partey is really helping his game, his presence, and you know, I think, you know, when Thomas Partey's been playing well, when he's been kind of fit, I think we've been seeing a much more improved Granit Xhaka. I think even parts of last season, when he didn't have his rush of blood, he was playing better, and it was very hard to mark him down because I wasn't quietly thinking, he's finally getting it. But this season, he's out of this world. But yeah, Thomas Partey's presence plus moving further up the field where he can get involved in our attack has helped him enormously. But it does help when we've dominated every game we've played in and we're always on the front foot. He's not the only player that's shined. Odegaard's been playing better football since we've been on the front foot. Martinelli looks a different player as well. He's starting to look like a more intelligent footballer rather than off the cuff. And it's all because we're playing well, dominating games. Ever since Arsene's been at our club, I think all of us worked out our best way of playing is on the front foot, where we got better and competing for trophies. But 7 games in, long may it continue. Let's just see we've got the big balls to play like that in a North London derby and against Liverpool when we're both at home. If we could do that and conquer, I'm laughing my head off. Because
I think a lot of people are underestimating Liverpool, though. Real talk,
you should never do that. Anyone who underestimates Liverpool hasn't got a Scooby Doo about football. Never underestimate them.
They've only lost 1 game this season, which is the same as us. They've scored 2 goals less than us this season and conceded less than us. The only difference is they've actually drawn 3 games and won 2. We've won 6 and drawn
all their strikers are fit.
Lost 1.
All their strikers are fit, and so that is going to be, and they will get their midfielders back as well. Remember, they look a better centre half pairing with Matic there and Canute there as opposed to Gomez. So at Liverpool, a team that many a time especially games last season, we all thought maybe it's just time to beat Liverpool, and they've just find a way. They've really got big game intelligence, which on a regular basis, which we have to learn from. So it's never a good time to play Liverpool, and it's never a bad time to play Liverpool. But to underestimate them, I think people need to calm themselves a bit. Relax yourself, as the Irish say.
100%. What about you, Jez? What do you put Granit Xhaka's form down to?
I don't know, man. I think we actually found the true. Has Arteta suddenly unleashed the actual potential player that he could be when we've been not seeing this for the 8 years he's been here? I don't know. But all I will say is I'm impressed. This season, I've been very impressed. And I thought yesterday he was absolutely unplayable at times. He was forward, he was backwards, he was in midfield, he was all over the park. And you can only ever ask that of a footballer that puts in a shift and gives you what you want to see. I mean, dare I say it, he was playing for the badge. He played with passion, and I thought, wow, where's this man come from? Is this his twin that we've secretly signed and no one knew about? And it's not really Granit Xhaka at all. It's his twin brother. Anyway, being serious, I mean, I can't fault the guy at the moment, but we all know the frailty with Granit Xhaka. He can get the red mist, and what we don't need going into October, is the red mist coming down, and it's the red card. We can't afford that. We don't have the depth of squad for that can happen. Seriously. So I'm impressed at the moment, and long may it continue. If this guy goes on and on and on and on, I'll turn around end of the season and say, Jez, you talk bollocks.
Same. I think we'll all do the same, Jez. If we're in a title race come the last month of the season, I think we'll all be happy with that, because it's funny, because since we've started this season, we've all been sat here going, well, this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see us win games. We wanted to see us dominate games. We wanted to see us on the front foot. We wanted to see us actually just running for each other, working for each other, and playing for each other. That's all I've wanted since this manager's come here. And people can sit there and say as much as they want about it's a process, it's a project, load of cobblers. We've seen other managers go into other football clubs, whether they're high up the table or down the bottom of the table, and get instant impact, instant results, instant trophies in some cases, with a squad that ain't their squad. So all this cobblers about he needs his own players, he needs this, he needs that. It's the only manager in world football that needs 11 world-class players to actually achieve something. Like we see with Thomas Tuchel, he went into Chelsea that had finished, well, they were 9th at the time when he got the job. He got them straight into the top 4 by the skin of their teeth and won them the Champions League, the Club World Cup and the Super Cup, and then got potted.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that shows the levels between the two football clubs for me, because, I'm in this little conspiracy theory mode of, we put that kid on the pitch yesterday. We got a 17-year-old on the bench as well yesterday. Is that because we got nothing else? Or is that because they are 2 of the best kids in our academy by a country mile? Well, I think it's a bit of, well, maybe it's a bit of both, but also I think it's a case of it's now part of the excuse. Oh, yeah, but we had a 15-year-old on the bench. So if we don't win anything this season, and these kids, that Sosa guy has been on the bench a couple of times this season, we're going to see 16, 17, 15-year-olds on the bench all season. Because if you actually look at how many first-team players that are there, you've got the 11. How many after that could fight for a first-team spot on a regular basis? Not many. So we've got a core of maybe 15. That, when you're in 4 competitions, is worrying. That is really worrying. We're in more competitions than we were last season, and we've got less of a squad than first-team challengers than last season. Like, every time I've seen our bench this season, I've just been embarrassed with it. I'm like, that's a championship bench, mate. Like, and I feel like as soon as we do get a JEZ'S injury or a suspension with that 1 yellow card he needs for it, if Thomas Partey goes down again, and these things are going to happen at some point this season. Yeah, based on previous. Thomas Partey's always injured since he's been here. Kieran Tierney, you can't rely on him for a season. You know, Zinchenko's injury record at City, by the way, did nobody check that? Yeah, that guy was injured constantly at Man City, by the way. I checked it the other day. He had about 9 or 10 injuries at City in 3 years. You know, and he's already had 2 since he's been at Arsenal. So I just look at it and I think, like, we needed a little bit more. Smith Rowe can't be relied on. And I've not heard of this. I've never heard of a 22-year-old's groin still growing. Like, that just sounds iffy, mate. Like, it really does. Like, I don't know what he's getting up to after dark, but I don't know, mate.
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of a 22-year-old's groin still growing. But as an enjoy it while it lasts, because we ain't going to win the league. I think Man City are going to walk it. I think we can all accept Man City are light years gone. And they're not even playing great at the minute, Man City. But they've got Erling Haaland up front. And I think he needs to score 3 goals a month for the rest of the season to break the Premier League goal scoring record. I mean, he'll get 3 in one game at some points this season. He'll get 2 in one game. So he's going to smash that Premier League record apart. And the thing is, they've not even been good. Mahrez has hardly played. Grealish has hardly played. You know, like Foden has been good in bursts. De Bruyne's not at top speed yet. You know, like their best players this season have probably been defensive players. Yeah, and they've been attacked on a lot more this season than they were last season. But as soon as they start purring again, Man City put 17 wins together and they'll be gone. Yeah, and then it's a case of who finishes second. Well, second's first loser. Yeah, cool, we might get Champions League off of that. But we're supposed to be closing the gap. At the moment, we are top. So cool, enjoy it. But it is only 7 games gone. I think a lot of people are getting them really carried away. I had one of my mates text me earlier. You happy yet? That's what he said. You happy yet? He never texts me after a loss, by the way. He didn't text me after Man United, only after a win. Yeah, big up to him. But it's only 7 games. And, you know, the fact that Brighton are 4th in the table, I don't think there's any Brighton fans sitting there going, we can get top 4 this season, because they realise the expectation and the level that they're at. Yeah, we're not going to win a title. I've seen ex-players saying we're in a title. I've seen 2 of our ex-players and a couple of big accounts online saying, oh, we should never have got rid of Alex Iwobi. Like, what are these people on? Like, real talk. Somebody sent me the tweet today of an account online that's got about 100,000 followers saying Emery, something to do with Emery deserved to be sacked for getting rid of Iwobi. I'm like, really? Are you mad? Like, Ian Wright come out the other week. Oh, we should be getting Iwobi back. Like, what is the matter with these people, man? Yeah, we've got 31 more games of the season. Cool. Enjoy the 7 games that we've had. Fantastic. But we went 11 unbeaten last season. It meant nothing. We went 22 unbeaten under Emery. It meant nothing. So far, so good. But when this manager finally gets more points than Unai Emery's first and only full season, come back to me and tell me there's an improvement. Because, yes, we're playing well. Yes, the performances are miles better than at stages last season. And consistently in a row, we've been very good in the 7 games. I don't think we've seen that under this manager. But it is 7 games. The squad for me is not big enough. It's not good enough to compete for top 4, depending on what other teams do. And we shouldn't be relying on what other teams do. 2-3 injuries to this squad, and we're dusted if they're long-term, 2-3 monthers. Plus, not only that, we've got a lot of fixtures coming up now before the World Cup. Then we have the World Cup. There will be players getting injured in that, by the way. Whether they're Arsenal players or not, there will be players getting injured. injuries are part of the game, and I feel we didn't do enough in the summer. But so far, so good. I want to talk about Tottenham, Jez. They slapped 6 past Leicester at the weekend. They're 1 point behind us in the table. They've not lost a game this season in the league, and they haven't played great. Defensively, they look all over the gaff. I mean, Maddison scored an absolute banger against them, but in that first half, Leicester probably could have had 3 or 4. But it's always nice when you can bring Son off the bench and bag a hat-trick, isn't it, mate? Do you think this North London derby in a couple of weeks is going to be anything other than an Arsenal win, or is it just going to be a formality? Like, do you just think we're just going to steamroll them again like we do every year, or do you think that this could be a classic? Because we're both at the top of the table, we're both scoring goals, and they're not that great defensively. We're pretty decent going forward, but then they've got a decent world-class striker and a decent world-class backup, isn't they?
I think it's going to be a very nip and tuck game, actually, Lee. I said last night, it's going to be one of them, isn't it? Now, yeah, okay, history tells me, my heart tells me we're going to beat them because it's at home and we've got a bloody good record. My brain tells me, be sensible, look at what they've got in their strike force. If we come back from this bullshit bloody international break with a couple of players out, then we're in deep doobies. I'm going 2-2. That's my prediction. I think it's going to be a draw. It's going to be very nip and tuck. If we can sneak it, I'll be more than happy. I'm going to 2-2. And the reason I say that is we know that they're going to come at us, but we've got to get in a quick, fast start like we have been all season. And we can't knock that. I like to see that. We've got to put Tottenham on the back foot. Seriously, because if we can knock it on them, take the wind out their sails, then it's going to be a different game. But I'm going to be sensible. I'm going 2-2, mate.
Okay, Kenny, what about you, mate? Why you say that? I'm going to toilet quickly, mate. I'll be 1 minute.
You know what? I am really looking forward to this game because I think, these are probably the strongest Arsenal Tottenham sides I've seen in quite a while. Look, and one of the things is I do share your concerns, Jez, because one of the things when we beat Spurs at our ground, especially last season, we took the game away from them pretty quickly. Where they weren't playing too well, but they had okay results, won their first 3 games, and they got smashed by Palace. And then their next away game was against us, and we took advantage by scoring 3 quick goals and taking away from them. And I think that's what we're going to have to do in 12 days' time, is try and take the game away from Spurs. Because one of the things about Tottenham is that they haven't been playing well, but they've been playing well enough to survive. And the reason why is that when you look at that front 3, it's just too strong. Song, who was left out on the bench, was probably the best thing for him. He comes on, scores a hat-trick. No matter what you say about, Ward, the Leicester goalkeeper, the fact is he's got that quality. Then you've got Richarlison, who his first game in the Champions League against Marseille scores 2 goals, and you've got Aaron Kane still scoring, and Kulusevski as well, on who's on the bench, and then you got Perisic as well. They've got players who can hurt us, and if they stay in the game. And then they're the sort of team that can take it into the latter stage of the second half, and with their quality, they can nick the result. Because I can tell you categorically, Spurs are not going to come for a draw. They have no chance because they genuinely believe they're better than us in all departments. And that is where I am excited, because we believe we've got playing with a lot of confidence. We've got a strong lineup. Our first 11 is playing good football, and it's very, very strong. So it's one of those games where, Lee's been talking about Jesus. He is going to get wound up. Dyer is going to get in his face. Dyer's a Portuguese speaker. He will be saying things that other people may not understand, but Dyer knows that my guy understands. And I'm going to go on home form and say categorically that the Emirates should beat Spurs because we always do. But at their grand, it's going to be difficult because I do think that despite the fact Spurs have got all those qualities, if we raise the ante, and we've already done it, but if we play another, probably raise it by another 10 times or 10%, then I think Spurs will be finding it very difficult to play against us. And if we do start quickly and do start to dominate and score quickly, it's game over, regardless of who it is. But if we can't break them down, then I can share your concerns, Jess, because as I mentioned, Perisic is now on the side. They know he's now getting the best out of Sessegnon, at that left back stage. He's managed to educate Davies in a back three alongside Bertingtor. And even Romero, he's getting the best out. Even Emerson Royale, he's getting the best out of. Yeah, there's still a bit of aberrations, but that North London derby, Emerson Royale was really good against us last season at White Lane. So there is a very good side, and it's imperative we strike early, quick, and take the game away from them. If we don't, then the game could go either way. It really could, because they really, really have a habit of not finding a way. Look at Chelsea. Chelsea smashed to pieces. But somehow they managed to get a draw there, 2-2. Both the goals were scored against a run of play. But it's that quality, Even Højbjerg is scoring goals now. But, he's still got Perisic as well, his quality, and Harry Kane. So...
Well, he loves scoring against us and Kane.
Yeah, and Alex is right. On paper, they do have better front three than us. But, again, one of the things we have to watch out for, those overlaps from Sessegnon, and watch the play Bentancur, don't give him time to ball, and just watch Kulusevski and Song as well. When Kane comes into the midfield, whatever you do, don't let the ball go over the top, because if the ball goes over the top, that's where Gabriel and my guy Saliba are going to be tested, and they will get the ball over the top, and Song will make those runs. And that's where we need to be careful.
Yeah, 100%, mate. The thing is, Kane always scores in this fixture. I think he's the top scorer ever in this fixture, isn't he? And they've scored one goal more than us this season, and we've both conceded the same. So, despite people sitting there saying that they've been playing crap and this and that, they are only 1 point behind us, and they haven't actually lost a game this season. And people can sit there and look at their fixtures, same as they can with us. You still have to beat the teams, don't you? They drew with West Ham. Who else have they played? They played Chelsea and drew with Chelsea. Other than that, they've won every one of their games. I think Southampton, they beat 4-1. They beat... Who else did they have? Let me have a look. Fulham 2-1. They beat Marseille. I mean, that's not easy, is it? I know it's in a different competition. And then they slapped up Leicester as well. So, they've... Who else? They've played somebody else. Who was the other game there? Maybe they've played someone else. I don't know. Where is it? Southampton, Chelsea, Wolves. That's it. The Wolves and Nottingham Forest, and they're keeping clean sheets in a few of these games as well. So this is going to be a difficult game. It really is. And I just think I think we'll beat them, because we always beat them. But I think this is going to be a classic. I can't lie. Yeah, I think it's going to be a 3-2 or a 4-2 or something like that, because I do think they'll score. But I think we'll beat them as standard at our ground. And it's going to be interesting. Obviously, after that, we do have Liverpool. I think their front three is all fit now. I think Thiago's back in training. I think he came back into training last week. He's their best midfielder by a country mile. And we need to watch out for them as well, because to go up against Son, Kane, Kulusevski, or Richarlison, Kane, Kulusevski, and then the following week go up against Diaz, Firmino or Nunez, and Salah, that you've got your work cut out for them two games in there back to back. It's not going to be easy. And the thing is, both of them games will be won in midfield. So we got to hope Thomas Partey comes back off of international duty, fit as a fiddle, because if he don't, I think we'll struggle in both games. But if he is fit, I think we'll slap Spurs anyway. And I don't think we'll beat Liverpool. I don't think we'll beat them. And I don't want to say I'd take a draw because I don't like being a loser. I want to win every game. But if you was to say 6 points out of them, fantastic. But I don't see us getting 6, 4 points, and you move on. But if you're playing at home, you've got to be looking to win. And the thing is, Liverpool have been pretty crap this season. But again, if you look at the Premier League table, they're not a million miles away, and they've been crap. They're currently on what? Where's the points? They're currently 9 points behind us with a game in hand anyway. I don't know who their game in hand is. Is it Chelsea? I think it was Chelsea, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chelsea are 1 point ahead of them. So both of them teams have been pretty poor this season. But again, Liverpool have only lost 1 game and they've scored 2 less than us and got less goals conceded. So I don't know. And they've played us. They've played Man United as well already. So that's a big game out of the way for them. Who else have they played? They've played Everton, obviously their derby game. Most of their goals came in 1 game, to be fair, though, didn't they? They came in that Bournemouth game. But they've played Palace, they've played Fulham, they've played... who else have they played? The game against
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth, the Bournemouth game. Most of their goals are coming in 1 game. But the thing with Liverpool, I would not write Liverpool off at all. And then this is the thing we do as a fan base. Oh, they're having a shit time. Oh, they're crap. They're finished. We're doing it with Chelsea as a fan base at the minute. Oh, Chelsea are rubbish. Aubameyang's finished. Well, if Chelsea beat us and then get a result against Liverpool in the game at Stamford Bridge, all of a sudden it's a different league table, isn't it? And that's how quick it can turn around. Yes, they're 8 points behind us, but if they beat us, it'd be 5. If they beat Liverpool and Liverpool-Chelsea at their grounds, normally a decent game, all of a sudden it's 2 points. And that's how quick football can turn around. So,
the interesting part about all of these is when those games get rescheduled. Now, like I was looking at like I saw on the Premiership, and the only three weeks for those games to be rescheduled, and we're now in September now, is 3 dates. Midweek in April, and then there's 2 midweeks in May. So basically, what's happened is that for teams who are going to compete for the top 4, even to Conference League or Europa League or for the title, they're going to have that condensed fixtures. So part of condensed fixtures are going to be Man City's Tottenham, Arsenal versus Man City, Arsenal Everton, Liverpool versus Chelsea Liverpool, and Wolves, and the Wolves game as well. So Man United obviously are going to have Leeds. So it's going to be a very, very condensed fixture where, the theme week. So in looking at these games, by the time we do play these extra fixtures, the teams that we're writing off like Chelsea and Liverpool, they could be in the mix for even a title challenge for top 4. So I think at this stage, enjoy what we can. Demand the best, because we always should say, if you're playing this well and dominating games, if you continue to do that, then the expectation is a token challenge for the Championship or the Premiership, and but a demand for a massive trophy. The biggest trophy we've got is the Europa League, but the FA Cup would be lovely. It's lovely.
Yeah, mate, listen, the game's all about trophies, lads. Yeah, we say this all the time. You want to win the trophies. I tell you, and you said it in your fan cam, Kenny. If we don't, and the way we're playing at the moment, and yes, it is only a short part of the season, we've still got another 40-odd games yet this season in all competitions. But I don't expect us to play like this for 43, 45 more games. There's going to be times where we're going to lose. There's going to be times where we're going to play crap. We played crap against Zurich the other night. But if we start doing that in the league, they will take their chances. Zurich didn't take anything because they're shit. Yeah, but if you're doing that against the Spurs, you're doing it against the Liverpool, even if you're doing it against a Fulham or Brentford, for example. We put Brentford to bed last night. But if we weren't on it and we played like we did against Zurich, which we will this season at some points, you will lose them games because the Premier League's unforgiving. It don't care who you are. We see Man United get slapped by Brentford. We see Brighton batter Man United. Yeah, all of a sudden they've turned it around a little bit because they've dropped some of the players that shouldn't have been playing anyway. They shouldn't even be at the club. And all of a sudden they've now got a little bit of prettier football, and they've beaten us and Liverpool in their little run. So that's how quick things can turn around for a team that looked dead and buried after 2 or 3 games. All of a sudden they've won their 4 games on the trot. And I bet Man United fans are gutted that they ain't got had a game this weekend, because I bet they were buzzing to go and see the game. But that's how quick it can turn around. But anyway, anything you guys want to talk about before we wrap up?
No.
I don't know. Look, not much. I'm just glad that that football's back. But one thing that like I said, we do have to worry about is the effect of the World Cup on our season, because I do think that I know it's long term, but if anything is going to affect our season and take away from the momentum, is the effect of the World Cup, the effect of the fact that games are becoming thick and fast. That is where we're going to learn a lot about this squad, and we just pray that common sense approach is being said. I don't want a situation where Edu and Mikel was saying, you know what, at Arsenal we only buy players that we generally think it's going to improve us. Well, at this stage, I'm asking Edu and Mikel to buy players so we can actually have bodies in. And I'm not, and if it means it doesn't have to be spending for spending's sake, it's just to get the bodies in, because whether you're not, the last thing we want is that we get injuries. Because I'll tell you one thing, the intensity we're playing at, and I think all of us have agreed that physically it can't be sustainable going into April. Hence the fact you've got to rotate, but you can't rotate. You don't have extra bodies in. And I think that's one of the reasons why I do share your concerns. January is imperative that we do buy. 100% got to buy. Players that you couldn't get this summer, try and get them in January. The
thing is, mate, sorry to interrupt, we've got Premier League, we've got Europa League. Shortly, we're going to be getting into the Carrier Bag Cup. And then after Christmas, we've got the FA Cup. So if we're still in all those with this current squad, I totally agree with you, what you're saying. In January, we've got to buy, or even loan. Even if we loan some decent quality players in, but we always know, don't we, that the January transfer window is a difficult period to buy players of quality, isn't it? It's a difficult time.
Yeah. And who wants to get rid of their best players in the in the January window? Let's be real. But then saying that, if Leicester City are still down the bottom, go and get Maddison. Yeah, forget Tielemans, or maybe get both. Just say to him, look, Maddison's too good for Leicester City. I don't care what anyone tells me. He is too good. And I see a lot of our fans sitting there saying, oh, well, Odegaard's more of a number 8, not a number 10. Obviously, he's got number 8 on his back, but he's playing as a 10. And he's more of a number 8 and more a Xhaka, where Xhaka's playing. So why not go and get a Maddison who will bag you 15 goals a season, or 10 goals a season? Then you can play Odegaard and rotate him with Xhaka, and you've got Partey next to him. Then go and get somebody to help Partey. Whether that be, I don't know, maybe the guy at Brighton, I can't remember his name now. Is it Salcedo? Maybe go and get the lad from Fulham. What was his name? Rafinha? Maybe, I think, is that his name? Maybe go and get one of them two. And if you throw a load of money at them, we're not going to pay 50 million for Maddison. They're bottom of the table. They've actually had the worst goals conceded ever in Premier League history in the first 7 games. I'm surprised he has still got a job. Them players look like they've down tools, mate. They look like they're gone. Apparently Schmeichel left because he had a fallout with the manager. And I'll tell you something, if they don't sack him, they're getting relegated. If they keep him until Christmas or when the World Cup starts, they'll be too far gone. They need to go and get a manager now. Paulinho, that's it. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Paulinho, that's the guy we should be looking at. Get him in midfield. Go and get him and go and get Maddison in January. That way you've now added another couple of strings to your bow, and you can then move Odegaard from away from being that number 10 that doesn't really score loads of goals. You can put Maddison in there. Now you've got an adequate replacement for Granit Xhaka, because I see our fans saying all the time that Odegaard's not a 10, he's an 8. Well, play him as an 8 then. Then you've got Smith Rowe that can play left or number 10. You know, all of a sudden you've got Vieira in there as well. You can play him as a number 10. So Maddison will have cover anyway. And worst comes to the worst, you just go back to Xhaka in certain games and then Odegaard at 10 anyway. But then if you've got cover for Thomas Partey, we don't have to rely on El Neni. Yeah, and it's not going to cost that much money. I also want a right winger, yeah, because we don't really know how good this Marquinhos is, and I ain't really waiting to find out. It's all about now. Yeah, I couldn't care less if he's one for the future. I want to win now. The future is this season. And it's not next season. It's not the season after. The future is now. It's the season that you're currently on. Great, go and get players for the future, of course. But the future should be the season you are on, winning stuff this season, not waiting 3 years or 5 years to win something next. But Maddison as an 8 can work as well. Yeah, possibly. Although I do think he's miles better further forward. The guy is class, man. Every time I watch him, even at the weekend against Tottenham, he is absolutely different, man. Like, it's just so good. And you know when he gets a chance, it's going to be on target pretty much most of the time. Plus, he can take free kicks. Yeah, and he scores. And he creates. You know, his goal at the weekend, I mean, that was just a joke. As soon as that come back to him, I knew he was scoring that. Yeah, it looked good that he curled it away from the keeper. Yeah, it was such a sick goal. But I feel we do need to do that. But they ain't going to. They won't go and buy 3 players in January. Yeah, they'll probably get rid of players.
Much. It'd be to add detriment, because I think, you know, the thing you said about the January window is very. I agree with it, but let's not forget we bought Aubameyang in January, but we bought Arshavin in January as well, and let's not forget Van Dijk was bought in January by Klopp in 2018. You know, 2018. So it can be done, and you can. But yeah, you are both right. Normally you get players who've got a cloud over them, or a cloud in the dressing room. Like Aubameyang obviously went to Barcelona because Mikel saw him as a cloud. Although we know the real reason why he went, but we'll keep it to ourselves. But yeah, we saw him.
Yeah, we do know the real reason why.
Yeah, this is for us. Sorry, guys, don't DM me.
Yeah, there's some things that can't be leaked.
Yeah, can't be leaked. But yes, he was a cloud. He was an absolute cloud. Mikel called him a cloud, but we know he wasn't a cloud.
Exactly. And yeah, man, January is always going to be difficult. I want to give a shout out to Guendouzi as well, by the way. Scored at both ends at the weekend.
Both ends. You want to give a shout out?
Goal and then scored off a corner. So yeah, he scored at both ends at the weekend. I see Nice lost again. Yeah, Nice are having a nightmare since signing all these players. Let me get the League One table up real quick. Marseille are still second. They're 2 points off of the top. They ain't lost a game though, to be fair, Marseille, and they're doing very well. But yeah, the matches at the weekend.
They're doing great in the Champions League, though, are they?
Mate, they got taken apart against Tottenham in the end, didn't they? Nice against Angers. Angers beaten 1-0. Nabil Bentaleb, do you remember him? He plays for Angers in France. Who knows?
Tottenham.
Oh shit! What have I done here? Clicked on the highlights. We better get off of that real quick before we get done for copyright. But yeah, Nice had a player sent off in the first minute. Unbelievable. They had a player sent. I don't know if it was the goalkeeper, but I don't know any of their players. But yeah, they Nicola Pepe played, and didn't Ramsey sign for them? Aaron Ramsey.
Ramsey's gone next. Schmeichel's here.
Yeah, well, Schmeichel was on the bench. Wow, why would you put him on the bench? He's a top keeper
in Europe.
Man. Exactly, he is one of the best. Ross Barkley came off of the bench. He was on it. A guy called Youssef Attal. We've been linked to him a million times. Who did he used to play for? He played for someone else. He's not a bad little player, but he came on. But yeah, Nice lost. And yeah, Guendouzi scored at both ends for Marseille. What a player against Rennes. 25th minute OG, and then a 52nd minute equaliser. Redeemed himself. But yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing some of these international games coming up as well, because we've got a lot of our players going off to international duty. Not that I will be watching it. I'll be watching the highlights because I ain't interested in international football. So I'll be thinking of stuff to talk about every day. Jez,
even if it's Italy and Germany.
Mate, my little brother, I didn't even know this, right? I want to tell you a quick story. You guys already know this story, but I'm then going to lead on. My brother's going to the World Cup in Qatar. That's not what you know. My brother's going to the World Cup in Qatar. he has paid £2,000, yeah, for his 3 match day tickets, his hotel, and his flight. I thought that was a bargain. I thought that was an absolute steal. Yeah, his club Wembley, and he gets priority tickets, similar to like if you've got a gold membership at Arsenal, you can book tickets, or a silver membership, sorry, you can book tickets a little bit earlier. Yeah, and but yeah, he's paid £2,000 all in for the 3 group games. Yeah, and then he's got an option to extend his hotel if they get out the group, and he can then get tickets for the knockout stages. Yeah, I was like, wow, go on. But he's going to Italy, and he's going with Sport Options, which is who we used to fly with to the Arsenal away games abroad. Yeah, and they're quality, by the way. Anyone who does travel, doesn't matter what team you support. If it's a big team that's in Europe, Arsenal, United, City, etc., check out Sport Options. That company are top class, man. And the geezer's a gooner as well. Big up to Miles. But it's like an in-out. You literally same day in and out if it's an away game abroad. And they charter a flight and that. But they are really good. I see my little brother's going with. So yeah, big up to him. But yeah, the story I wanted to tell you that you two do know, my parents will be back at mine in a couple of hours. They went all the way to Morocco. They've had a fucking nightmare coming back as well, by the way. They went all the way to Morocco. And they were supposed to do 10 days or so driving around on their bikes, staying in hotels and stuff like that, seeing the sights. There was 2 places they wanted to go in Morocco that have not been. The last time they went there was 2019, right? Customs never logged my mum's motorbike from leaving the country in 2019. So when she's gone there with my old man with the new motorbikes they've got, they've said, sorry, you can't come in. You're still registered as being here. So she's like, well, here's my passport. I'm standing. I've just come off the boat from Algeciras. Yeah, I'm not there, am I? And they've gone, no, you need this white piece of paper to say that your bike left the country. Because what happens, apparently, is a lot of people will take motorbikes in there and cars in there and sell them. Yeah, and then they change the plates to Moroccan number plates. Yeah, so it's a big business, apparently. So in the end, Customs said they could stay in for 8 days. My mum's going absolutely nuts last night. I said, just come back here. We'll chill out at the beach for a few weeks or whatever, innit? So anyway, my old man texted me about 10 minutes after we started this. Just got on the boat now. We waited 6 hours at the port because there's hardly any boats today.
No.
I swear. Then he sent me a picture of the boat. There's no one on it apart from them. They're the only 2 people on the boat. Apart from the guy, like, in what do you call it? It's not the driver, is it? What do you captain, that's it. El Capitan. And the captain's on the boat and my mum and dad. And that's it. I don't think there's any staff on there or anything. So yeah, they're getting back to Algeciras in about 5 minutes. And then they're riding all the way back here. They must be absolutely fuming.
Oh, I've become mad. It's terrible.
I know, mad, isn't it, mate? Different world, isn't it? Different rules, different countries, different continents, etc. Different rules. But yeah, because her bike, my dad's bike, wasn't still registered as still being in the country, but hers was, which is insane. But it is what it is, isn't it? Big up to McDowell, big up, matey. If we don't bring in reinforcements in the winter, I might be afraid we're going to fall off like we did last season. Fact, bro, fixture pile up is real. Big up for the love, bro. And Anthony Joshua says he'd KO Mikel Arteta. Big up to everybody who's watched this live, man. Big up to everybody who's watched on playback. There's nowhere near enough likes on it. If you watch this every week, you should just come in there standard and just press like. So what are you doing, man? 253 on the like, 650 still watching. JEZ'S, what have you got coming up, man?
Well, got 2 absolute legends on 5 o'clock Wednesday afternoon.
Who are they, mate? Who are they?
A certain Mr. Lee Gunner and a certain Mr. Kenny Ken. And another couple of lovely legends, Northside London and Diesel 888. So come on, watch that show, guys. That'd be quite amazing. We're going to talk everything Arsenal. And because the international breaks now descended on us, I'm going to be dropping some Arsenal history crap and do some of that. But I've got to type it all up, and that's always a pain in the neck. But I'll be doing that. Of course, we look forward to that.
What about you, Kenny? Before you say anything, Jez's link is in the description. Arsenal history and more. Go on, mate. Sorry.
Well, obviously, I'm going to be here on Wednesday, and then obviously, I do like international football. In fact, I love it. Especially,
Kenny, you're one of these that'll watch anything.
No, but
you can watch table tennis at 3 a.m.
No. The thing about it is that England frustrate me because I was actually talking to a scribe, and I said I was giving him reasons why I still have concerns about England winning the World Cup because they haven't got a midfield general who could basically dictate the play and pass the ball accurately forward. So that's why I still have my reservations. But I do like watching Spain play, especially in this tournament because they just pass the hell out of teams and frustrate them. So yeah, I'll be watching England obviously, but I definitely want to see how France and Spain get along. And Wales, I don't really want to watch them because I think the Wales players are going to wrap themselves in cotton wool and save themselves for the England game. So I think watching England is frustrating. Watching Wales is a waste of time. Scotland.
Does Gareth Bale still play for Wales? Is he still?
He still plays for Wales, but yeah, and watching Scotland and the Republic of Ireland. I'm sorry to my relatives from Scotland and the Republic of Ireland. Until you improve the quality of your football, I won't be watching. I'm sorry.
Hey, I am half Welsh.
Well, I'm going to send you something. I'm going to send you a video that Michael Sheen did. Michael Sheen done a League of Their Own. If that doesn't get the hairs on the back of your neck up, it never will.
I don't care. I'm
sure you've seen it.
I don't follow Wales in football. I do follow Wales in rugby. But yeah.
The last international game of football I watched, I think, was Qatar against, I think it was Kazakhstan. It was just on in the background in this bar I was in. Yeah, and it was like literally, I think, maybe it weren't, I don't know, it was Qatar against someone. It was fucking unbelievable. It was just end to end. It was a proper game. This international football we get in Europe is crap. Yeah, even in tournaments, it's crap. When I watched the Euros, like half of them games were just dead rubber. They were just boring, crap football. Like even when you got to the knockout stages, it was pretty boring, wasn't it? And then the final, I mean, we should have won it. Yeah, but let's get our Southgate tax, isn't it? But anyway, we are going to wrap this up, guys. So thanks to everybody who has watched live. Thanks to everybody who's watched on playback. Appreciate every one of you. And tomorrow I am live with Rants and Bants on here at 5 p.m. UK time. Straight after that at 6, Terry Flewers is getting told exactly what time it is. Given it, people need to eat their words and eat humble pie and all of this. Okay, mate. Same guy said Trent was world class and now has changed his mind. Yeah.
Has he? Has he?
He has.
Has he?
Yeah. Terry's getting put in a spliff tomorrow, and I will be smoking.
Terry will talk himself out of it. Flewis will talk himself out of it.
Big up, Terry. So yeah, I'll be on there at 6 straight after the show with Rants. I'll be on here at 5 with Rants, 6 on there with Terry. Then at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. So you got me 3 times tomorrow. Patrick Stones. At 9 p.m. I'm on Grizz Khan's channel with Grizz, Saeed, and Big Steve. So looking forward to that. That should be pretty decent.
Is that his Greece rip-off of Turkish's top 6 show? Oh, I should have said that.
No, I'm going to be ganged up on, isn't I? Like 3 Northwest clubs against the Southerner, isn't I? You know, I know what's coming. I already know. Yeah, Grizz is a very smart guy. Yeah, very smart, and he's Arteta's lawyer as well. Arteta's lawyer. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to all the lads as well. Make sure you follow Kenny Ken 1972 on Insta and follow JEZ'S channel. Subscribe to that. It's in the description. Arsenal history and more. But we are out of here. I'm going to go and cook some dinner. I'm home alone until the parents get back. Adios amigos. Arteta Frere para siempre.
Arteta out.